Hi Booktube, welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie and it's time for another book tag. So I already filmed Spring a Sprung book tag, so I thought I would do another tag for you guys. The spring cleaning book tag. What's great about this is that there's a lot of tags you can do, so you have a lot of it gives you more content. Like there's certain times of the year when I feel like you can easily come up with content to talk about. And then, there's a lot of seasons where they have, you know, readathons going on too. So, that really helps. So this is, like I said, this spring cleaning book tag, and you guys know how this works. So here are the prompts / questions. Okay, the first one is the struggle to get started. Book / series that you struggled to start due to its size. And there's a lot. There's one is a lot of Stephen King books are like that, like The Stand, for instance. This is a long book. I mean, obviously I did start it, but this was more of a restarting of it. We have... Okay. So I'm trying to grab it with my foot. Okay. But there's The Stand, which is a... and then there's... this one, another one that I've restarted. I did read a good amount of it. So these are more like books that I've started and stopped multiple times. It doesn't mean I'm not enjoying it, it just means that they're chunkers. They're big books. Even Way of Kings is one that I've started and made a lot of progress, but it did take me a while, and I'm still not finished with it. So yeah, I have a lot of books. I was gonna grab Les Mis too. That's another one that's another one of those ones I've struggled to start. And I did not, you guys know the story about how the first time I read the book was the abridged version, not realizing that it was the abridged version. But that's a chunkster. It's a really long classic. And the same with, and it took me forever, with kind of Monte Cristo as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of books that I've started or attempted to start or, I'm in the middle of that I haven't picked up, that I'm struggling with. Okay, so number 2, cleaning out the closet, which I did a lot of that today, actually. Books / series you wish to unhaul. And this is more like ones that I'm not sure if I want to unhaul them or not. I think one of them I'm pretty sure I'm going to unhaul, it's a pretty edition. And that is Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton and Ian Forrester's Howard's End, which I think I might want to read this one. That's why I'm hesitant. And the same with, possibly this one. I mean, I love Edith Wharton's writing style. She has beautiful writing, but her plots might not be for me. Because, I've read quite a few of them, but they're sad, and, not that a book has to be happy all the time. Trust me, I'm not one of those people who has to read only happy books, but it's just, it's good, but it's one of these things where I feel like I read it once, and I don't know if I'm probably not going to read it again. I liked it. She's beautiful writing, beautiful prose, and the stories are beautiful and tragic, but I don't know if I'll ever read it again, even though I said it was my favorite, and it's my favorite. So it's just one that I don't know. Maybe for some people, it has to be a book that you want to reread. So maybe I shouldn't consider it a favorite because I don't feel the desire to reread it. But yeah, and then this one, there's a little bit of hesitation, desire to reread it. So this might go back. But I also, just because I got another shelf and more space doesn't mean that I need to, I'm not going to continue. I'm not going to not unhaul books. I still have to pick books on a haul, but at least I don't have as much anxiety about it because I'm running out of space. At least for now, anyway. So maybe I should just get rid of both of them. I don't know. But yeah, that's the best answer for unhauling. I could probably give you a better answer, but then I have to go downstairs because all the books I had in the corner that were going to be donated, they have been moved down to the den. I do still have stuff in there in that corner, but they're more like books where I'm not sure if I want to get rid of them or not, if I want to donate them or not. Okay, so then we have Opening Windows, a book that was refreshing. And I picked the first book I read this year and finished, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. And it was kind of nice to read a book that was a fantasy book that was low stakes, that wasn't like about a big epic war and like characters being chosen for something and destiny and all that. It was kind of a nice reprieve from that. I still love that, I do. But sometimes it's nice to read something that's a little slower moving and easygoing and just like still has the fantasy elements, but is a little less, it's more cute and fluffy. And, that's why I don't, I have nothing against people that like, I have nothing against the paranormal romance genre, and I occasionally might pick one up because it's kind of nice to read fluffy stories that are about romance, and that there's a pretty good chance the characters are going to survive. And it's just wholesome values and even, and a good message. And also it's about like opening a coffee shop, as a reader, unless you're either a coffee person or a tea person. So opening a coffee or tea shop, that's awesome. And there's a little bit of romance, but it's not the main plot. Although I was surprised that it came, we didn't see anything of the romance until much later. But this definitely had more romance than Around the World in 80 Days, which supposedly had romance. But it was nothing, no one acted. The guy did not act like he was in love. Or he was falling in love. But yeah, this was a nice, refreshing story. And it was also refreshing because it was about a character that is seen as a villain or a villain's lackey, an orc. And as the main character, and I don't see a lot of stories with succubus. Was a Charmed episode with a succubus, but she was the villain of the week, the demon of the week. But there was Lost Girl, and Lost Girl is the only show where I've seen a succubus as the main character. So it's kind of nice to have a story where, now, she's not the main character, but still, she was a main character. She's a major character, not the main character, but still. She was part of the romance, which I really liked. So yeah, this is a nice reprieve from some of the epic fantasies. Like, if you love fantasy and you need a palate cleanser, check this one out if you haven't yet. It's great. And I know that the author's going to write more in this world. I don't know if it's already been published yet, but I know there's another one coming. Actually, I think it has. I'll have to keep an eye out for it. But, okay, so next we have question number 4 is washing out the sheets. The sheet stains. A book you wish you could rewrite a certain scene. Oh, there's a lot of TV shows that I would love to do. Like, Once Upon a Time, there was some of that I could rewrite. But as far as book goes, I didn't have a lot of answers. But there is one scene in it that I would love to get rid of and write it out. Not just rewrite it, but completely erase it. And that's the scene that most people turns people off from this book. It's a very inappropriate scene, and you're like, Stephen King, why did you put that in there? Why? I know you like, I know this is horror, and you like the weird stuff, and you were high as a kite, but still, why did you put this in there? If you read the book, or if you at least been in the popular fandoms for this book, for Stephen King, you know that there is that one scene in this book that will never see the light of day, will never be seen on screen, ever. Like, it would have to be rated NC-17 to put that in there. And even then, people might still be like, what the hell? But yeah, they need to, that scene. I would take that scene out completely and find something else for him to put in that moment for that ceremony or whatever. I mean, I do not get, I get the message behind that scene, what his intended message was, but how he approached it was just like, why? Why did you have to do that? It was so not appropriate. You didn't need to do that. Still one of my favorites, and my first Stephen King love. This is another one that took me a while to read. Because look at this boy. It's smackable, spankable, as Stephen Green would say. Okay, so yeah, that's what I would rewrite, or completely change that, get rid of that scene and replace it with something else. If you have to put something in there, something else. Put something else in there. Okay. Throwing out Knick Knacks, a book in a series you think was unnecessary, and I don't have an answer, but not applicable for this one, or no answer, because I don't know. I don't have a book where I felt like there was unnecessary content. I know a lot of people. There's books that a lot of people complain about that have unnecessary books. Like I think The Cruel Prince, the last one was a disappointment. The last book was a disappointment. Book 2 was great, but the last book was just not good. I know a lot of people, so maybe they would have taken out. Like I know there's a lot of people who would say, take out the second book and just make a duology. And I know a lot of people say that they did not need to make the third Hobbit movie. So yeah, I hear from other people, but I don't have anything that I feel that way personally about. So I don't have an answer for that one. Number 6, Polishing the Doorknobs, a book/series that had a nice clean finish. All of Jane Austen's books, they all have a nice clean finish, I think. I mean, I don't always agree with the ending love interest, but yeah, they all end happy with marriage and living happily ever after, and it's not, and yes, I know that not everyone, trust me, as someone, we don't all need to get married at the end and have babies and stuff, but it's still a nice clean finish because it, is a happily ever after. Everyone's happy and happily in a happy place, and they're content with their lives. It's not fake happiness. I mean, the antagonists, of course, aren't necessarily happy, but you know what? They're not supposed to be. It's a very, but the ending is always, her ending's all wrapped up in a nice little bow. They're always where she wants the character to be. Legends a lot of times had a nice happy ending, but I don't want to use that one again. The Historian, I feel like, had a nice, clean, happy ending. I was surprised how this one ended, actually. It had a very clean, happy ending for our main characters. Our original main narrator. I mean, it wasn't 100, it still was that's life goes on kind of ending, but it still was a very nice, clean finish, I think. It resolved everything. The antagonist was stopped, Everyone got their happy afters. Everyone was content. I mean, I was surprised. I was thinking certain things were going to happen that didn't. But yeah. So, I picked the Historian is another one, along with all Jane Austen's books, at least the ones I read, because I haven't read Lady Susan or her Dream Vanalia. Okay, so number 7, Reaching to Dust the Fan, a book that tried too hard to express a message. I had trouble with this one. I had a hard time coming up with an answer for this. I know there's probably a better answer, but the only thing I could think of was Hunchback of Notre Dame. I didn't even finish that one. I didn't even get very far. But it clearly was a message about how the Paris architecture is amazing, and I love Paris, and I'm pleased for you, and I love Paris too. I want to go back to Paris, and go back to France, and go through the Louvre without falling asleep. I mean, I love it, but like I said, I don't want to read, as I said before when I talked about the last time I talked about this book, I don't want to read a book where I'm expecting a story and then instead I get a history lesson. That happened a little bit in Around the World in 80 Days, where there were moments where there was history lessons explaining the history of Mormonism, explaining the history of each location and everything, but he didn't do it throughout the whole book. Or at least it wasn't it didn't dominate the book. The story isn't take over the story. Now, I didn't read enough of Hunchback of Notre Dame to really get this whole story, but I DNF'd by chapter 2 or 3. I just couldn't do it. I don't even know if I got that far. I don't remember how far I got with that one. But that I don't I love France. I love Paris. I want to go back to it. I do. I agree. It's a beautiful city from what I've seen of it. But I want to read the story of Quasimodo and Esmeralda and Thebes and Claude Frollo and the what the Romani people, that's what I want to read. And what happens in Paris and how Claude Frollo was trying to get out I see they're called gypsies, but I've heard that that's a derogatory term for that group of people, so it's better to say Romani. Um, but yeah, him trying to get rid of them and slaughter them all and commit genocide, and like how Phoebus and Quasimodo stop him, and how Quasimodo falls in love with Esmeralda and becomes obsessed with her, but she's in love with Phoebus, and you know, all that stuff. I want to read that story. I don't care about, like, I would read a book that was a lesson that taught me about Paris and France and its history. I would read a nonfiction for that. Like, it's fine if you have a little bit, like I said, Around the World in 80 Days had some history lessons. There were chapters that were a lot of history lessons, but yeah, they were kind of boring chapters. But still, that's fine. That's tolerable. But like where it basically dominates the whole story and you're giving it a whole history lesson. No, like I said, it was a DNF, so I don't know what happens in the rest. But I know a lot of people before I read it, I read comments where people have said, it's not like the Disney movie. I do want to see that play, but it never made it to Broadway. So that's kind of disappointing. But the music sounded so brilliant and beautiful. I don't know why it never made it to Broadway, but it did not. So I'm sure there are other answers for this question of books that just tried too hard, but I don't have an answer. Except for Hunchback of Notre Dame. Okay, number 8. The last one, because the next one is tagging people, and I don't tag people. But if you want to do this tag, it's also another fun spring-related tag. Please do it if you want to. Okay. Tiring, yet satisfying to spring cleaning. Finish to spring cleaning. A book/series that was tiring to finish. And I picked one that I did love. I loved the book. I enjoyed it very much. And I did do a video where I talked about why I think it could be better adapted as a TV show. And this was one book that I had some comments that I feel like gave me feelings of, discomfort, and just some of them I hope I handled them well, but I don't remember what I said. I hope I didn't, I hope I handled them, and one of them was, I just felt like was a little arrogant sounding and judgmental of me. And that is The Count of Monte Cristo. This is another big boy. I do want to reread it. I was watching, what is her? Throne of Pages, I think her channel, something like that. I want to say her name was like Isabella or something, but she did a vlog where she talked about reading this book and did a vlog on it and how much she loved it, and I loved it too. I did, but it's a long book. It took me years. I mean, I was reading this back when we were in Maryland, long before we were even considering moving. I was reading this book. I just hadn't picked it up, and then I finally decided, let me see if I can get an audiobook, and I bought the audiobook because there's not a borrow the audiobook kind of book. It's a book where you need to buy it so you can really take the time with it and enjoy it without the pressure, without feeling like, okay, I have to renew it now, or wait, or return it and then wait until I can get it again. But I love this. I do want to reread it. It's just a long book. It's a big boy. But it's so good. It's a revenge story. I think, it's like this guy whose life is going so great because of jealous rivals, he gets thrown in the prison because because supposedly he has committed treason, and he's a traitor to the cop. He's a traitor, but he's really not. He got framed. So after meeting a priest, he becomes more educated, and he breaks free eventually and and ends up getting getting revenge on the people that betrayed him, and including his fiance and his best friend, and like all these people he trusted, and he rewards the people in his life that helped him, that didn't betray him, that are still alive. like his former employer, I think, is still alive, and he rewards them, and it's so good. And like, I think the 2011 movie was pretty good. It's not the best adaptation. It, it's a small 2-hour movie, so it condenses it quite a bit, and it changes some things, a lot of things, and it's not, again, I say it again, it's not a good adaptation. It's an enjoyable movie, for me at least, because I had not read the book. So I enjoyed the movie as it was, for what it was. I enjoyed the movie. It's not a good adaptation. Okay, again, not a good adaptation, but it's still an enjoyable movie. But there are other, and it's the only adaptation I've seen. I would like to see the other adaptations at some point, but I have not come across them yet. But read the book. Please read the book first. Because this is such a brilliant book. It's a long book, and now I'm thinking about it. I want to pick it up already and read it again. It might be a good fun spring read. But like I said, I also have to read War and Peace. But I need to finish Anna Karenina first. Anna Karenina. So, but anyway, but yeah, what was the question? It's tiring. No, I say it's tiring because it's a long one. It is a long book. I've been reading it for years, and finally I got the audiobook, and that helped me finish it. And there are scenes that are a bit tedious, and like you wonder, are they relevant? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? And then later you find out that why they're important. They are relevant. But it's so good. It's such such an exciting, and who doesn't love a good revenge story? Olive from Book Olive did a really good video where she talked about revenge, and is it a good idea? Is it worth it? After having read this book, and like I said, I'm thinking about it now. I'm staring at it, and I want to reread it already. But I know it's gonna take me forever to reread it again, because I still keep putting and picking up it. I really should consider doing like a, where all my I read tomes for the rest of the year. But I have so many books I need to get to that are not tomes that I feel like I can't do that, because then they'll, So yeah, like I said, the last one is looking forward to next spring. Tag some people. Okay, so that is the spring book tag, the spring cleaning book tag. Again, if you are interested in this tag, please do it. It's another fun spring related tag. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you have not and you would like to. Like I said, there's no pressure to give a thumbs up. But if you really love this video, it will help my channel. And please tell your friends about my channel. If you think I'm a good booktuber, please tell your friends. If we, it would really help my channel. And I hope you are enjoying your reading right now. I'm reading some good books for springtime. I still gotta pick out my books for the rest of the spring year. Problem is, like I said, I can't leave, as in the past, I feel like I can't leave them sitting there, because if my mom knows them, it's gonna drive her crazy. And she's gonna be like, she's gonna, she doesn't like clutter. Even if it's organized clutter, she doesn't like it. Like, she's fine with the stuff on my desk. It won't drive that, well, although it probably does drive her crazy, but at least it's on my desk. And, like, I'm not that different from my grandma. I mean, it's easier for me to critique her and her mess, but then when it comes to mine, I get on the defensive. So I think it's easier when it's someone else's problem, even if it's your problem, even if you have the same problem. I think it's easier for you to critique someone else, because, then look at yourself and be like, okay, I do know I have a problem, I need to fix it, but every time, like, I take out stuff, I'm like, oh, I need this out, and then it sits there forever, and I never put it away. I got all these, like, fuzzies from blankets and stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm done rambling, and I hope you are if you are in the northern hemisphere, then I hope you're enjoying spring. If you're in the southern, I guess it'll be autumn for people in the southern hemisphere. But anyway, I will talk to you all later. Alright, bye!